You are back inside the War Room. I'm Jennifer Granholm from the great city of New York. Now, regular viewers of this program know we're constantly exposing the mendacity of the far right, not just Mitt Romney, though he's a particular target of ours. Like when they say that Obamacare is going to lead to death panels, or that more than half of Americans don't pay any taxes. And don't forget the oft-told whopper that the economic stimulus didn't work at all. No jobs were created. So I've often thought to myself, somebody has got to write a book and put all these lies in one place and then debunk them clearly with precision. Take them out. Well, guess what? Our next guest has done just that. In the 2008 campaign, J.P. Bernbach was an official spokesman for Democrats abroad, and now he's written the new book, Pack of Lies, Debunking the 40 Most Destructive Conservative Myths in America. J.P., welcome inside the War Room. So glad to have you here.
Oh, I'm very happy to be
here.
I
love to have people in our army of trying to debunk these lies. So what caused you to decide to write a book about it?
I guess the most accurate answer would be a lifetime of frustration that finally boiled over.
I feel your pain.
Yes, I mean, really, it's amazing. There are so many persistent conservative lies, and I was, in a sense, waiting for somebody else to write this book, and nobody did. And I was involved in the 2008 campaign and very closely monitoring things, and I just felt that the book needed to be written. And then when 2010 happened, that was the real moment.
So you've got, like, facts, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you take each lie that's a common lie. So, like, I could go to I have a very conservative brother, and I could take, you know, whatever he's saying, and, all right, that's number 40. I'm going to, you know, undo that lie. So you've got them all written out in your new book.
Yes.
Okay, so let's take one. I mean, I picked out a couple of them that particularly irk me. So, for example, the one, I'm a progressive Catholic, and the one I find particularly offensive is the lie that liberals want to wage a war against Christianity. Tell our viewers why that's not true.
Well, I mean, the fact is that there are more Christians in the United States who identify themselves as Democrats than as Republicans. And there was, in 2007, when the Democrats were in control of the House of Representatives, they actually passed a resolution recognizing the importance of Christmas and of Christianity. And that passed with more Democratic votes than Republican votes.
So there!
And the other thing that is my favorite point is that we have a national Christmas tree that is right outside the White House. It is lit every year by the president.
Proudly by the president?
And,
right. Yeah, they would. Those liberals want to get rid of Christmas. Another big lie, cutting taxes increases revenue. Now, I know we go over this quite a bit, and your book probably has the clear debunking. But what's, if I'm with my brother, for example, what's the best way to debunk that?
Well, the best way to debunk it is to demonstrate that when taxes have been cut by notable conservative presidents who were enacting this policy, Ronald Reagan and then George W. Bush, that in fact that the debt went up and that revenues did not. We had a constant national debt from 1950 to 1980. The national debt stayed the same, and as a proportion of the economy as a whole, it declined consistently over that period of time when, of course, the Democrats were in control of both houses of Congress and as often as not in the White House. Ronald Reagan, in 8 years, according to this economic theory, put it into place, and the debt tripled in that time.
So, I mean, of course, you can talk to Paul Krugman about this. He's always on a rant about making sure that people understand that when you cut taxes, you cut revenue, period. It doesn't increase it. Anyway, this one also cracks me up, that the GOP is the party of fiscal responsibility. Why is that one a whopper?
Well, it's connected to the lie, to the idea that cutting taxes increases revenue. That's actually the most important thing for them, I think, that if you cut taxes, because that allows them to do something that is very, very popular with the public. The Democratic Party, for years and years and years, we created Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and civil rights and put a man on the moon and won the Second World War. All these things when the Democrats dominated the American government. I think conservatives understood that in order to compete effectively with Democrats and to actually win power, they needed to come up with something that could energize and attract the support of voters. And tax cuts was the thing.
Right.
So coming up with this idea that cutting taxes is not something that creates debt. It's not something that we're going to have to pay for. It's actually going to be beneficial for everybody.
It's magic.
Was the most important thing to do.
Yeah.
And once they had that idea, they can't let go of it because that's the only thing they have to offer huge numbers of voters.
Right, right. Instead of a chicken in every pot, 2 cars in every garage, it's a tax cut in every pocket.
Exactly.
And that's what they have. Now, it's interesting because you were in charge, you were head of Democrats Abroad.
I was not head of it, but I was a member of it, and I was representing the party.
Yeah, where were you living when you were?
In Brussels.
In Brussels. All right. So what do you have a sense? You spend a lot of time still overseas?
I haven't been back in a while, but I'm very much in touch with people there.
And so what do they view? How do they view Mitt Romney?
Well, I think that they don't take him seriously, and most of the people I talk to find
Of course, you're probably talking to progressive people.
I am. For the most part. Although, actually, one thing that Europeans don't quite understand until they actually observe American politics is that the right in the United States is really quite to the right of where it is in Europe. So the conservative, and I'm not talking about the far right in Europe, but the conservative politicians like David Cameron, for instance, have much more in common with Democrats like Obama and Bill Clinton than they do with Mitt Romney and the far right.
Right, that was evident in the trip that Mitt Romney made. But I do think, but you think that most Europeans, though, look a bit askance at the seriousness of Mitt Romney.
Yes, and they find it very surprising that the race is close.
Yeah, well, so do some of us, and it's still close. I don't get it, but anyway, thank you so much for coming inside the War Room. You've got to get it. J.P. Bernbach's book, author of Pack of Lies, Debunking the 40 Most Destructive Conservative Myths in America. You will want it for your Uncle Joe when he pushes back at you, at least at the dinner table this weekend. And up next, are you getting scammed? Ever get your phone bill or your mortgage statement and say, wait a second, what is that charge there on the back in tiny print? David K. Johnston uncovers the ugly truth behind the fine print and how consumers are getting socked in some surprising places and who is doing the socking. And he's next. You're going to learn some stuff that's going to make your blood boil. Next, right here in the War Room.